Good morning, this is Kasturi Day. Today again I've come with the discussion of the chapter Nervous System in Humans according to ICSE syllabus class 8. Okay, so in my last video I discussed about the brain, and now I'm starting with the spinal cord, which is also a part of the CNS, that is Central Nervous System. So spinal cord is the continuation of the medulla oblongata of the brain. I told you that medulla oblongata is also known as the brain stem, and this is continued as the spinal cord, okay, as the spinal cord, which comes out of the brain and enters into the and passes through the vertebral column. Like a cord that emerges from a hole at the base of the skull and runs through the vertebral column. It is also protected by meninges and cerebrospinal fluid between them. It's like the brain. It also has the meninges covering and also the cerebrospinal fluid between the meninges. A cross section of the spinal cord, if we cut a cross section of the spinal cord, it shows two similar halves fused together, forming a small canal in the center, which is known as a central canal. From the picture you can see that it has two halves which are joined together, fused together, forming a central canal, okay, and that is a small canal that is known as central canal, and it also contains the cerebrospinal fluid. Now it is surrounded by H-shaped area, okay. See the H-shaped area, that is the gray matter, or you can say it consists of the cytons or the cell bodies, nerve cell bodies, okay. So that region is known as the gray matter, okay. And the outer portion of the gray matter is the white matter, which consists of the nerve fibers, okay. So next we come to the functions of the spinal cord. See, it conducts reflexes below the neck. All the reflex action which occurs below the neck is conducted by the spinal cord, and then conducts the sensory impulses from the skin and the muscles to the brain. So it conducts all the impulses which are coming from the skin or the muscles to the brain, carries to the brain, and also it conducts motor responses from the brain to the muscles of the trunk and the limbs. So from the brain, whatever impulses come, whatever messages is come from the brain, they are carried through the spinal cord to the muscles of the trunk and the limbs, okay. So three main functions the spinal cord has, okay. Next we come to the reflex action. See, the main function of the spinal cord is the reflex action. It is automatic, spontaneous. What is a reflex action? It's an automatic, spontaneous and mechanical response to a stimulus controlled by the spinal cord without the involvement of the brain. Here, brain is not involved in this reflex action. Okay, it's an automatic and spontaneous response. It's mechanical response to the stimulus which is controlled by the spinal cord. For example, if you step on a sharp object, you instantly withdraw your foot. Why? Because this action is automatic and does not involve any thinking. You don't think at all. We don't think at all to whether we will remove it or not. We just instantly remove the foot from the sharp object. So this is a reflex action. This is a reflex action. The nerve pathway of this reflex action is known as the reflex arc. Okay. So from the sensory organ, when it is going to the nervous system, that is CNS, that is the spinal cord here. So from the sensory organ, when the nerve is going to sensory nerve via the sensory neuron, it is going to the spinal cord. Then from the spinal cord, within the spinal cord, from the sensory neuron, the impulse is transferred to the motor neuron, and the motor neuron is getting the message that to remove the foot. So that is coming through via the motor neuron to the muscles of the sensory organ, to remove the hand or feet, whatever we are doing, wanting to remove it. So it takes place in a fraction of seconds. So you don't even think, you don't even it's like an electric signal. It's just very, it's a very fast, this reaction takes place. Okay. Next, that what are the steps involved in this? A stimulus which triggers an impulse in a receptor. Okay, there's a stimulus which triggers the impulse in a receptor, which could be any sense organ or structure that receives the stimulus. Any sense organ or any structure which receives the stimulus, okay, and that is triggered in a receptor. Now the impulse then travels from the receptor through a sensory neuron to the spinal cord. Now in the spinal cord, it passes through the association neuron and finally reaches the muscles of an effector organ. The muscles of the effector organ contract, moving it away from the stimulus. So the stepwise stimulus, then receptor organ, then the sensory neuron. Via the sensory neuron, it is transferred to the associated neuron within the spinal cord. From the association neuron, it is transferred to the motor neuron, and motor neuron gives a message to the muscle to act accordingly. Okay, so this is the reflex action pathway. Now, see, the reflex action are of two types: simple reflex and conditional reflex. So, simple reflexes do not require any previous learning or experience. It is inborn. No previous learning or experiences required. For example, eye reflex, pupil reflex, knee jerk reflex, coughing, sneezing, that do not require you don't need to learn them or experience them. It happens like that. So for example, see, eye reflex, when since someone moves their hand suddenly in front of our face, we close our eyes. We don't learn to close our eyes, no. So this is the simple reflex. And pupil reflex, the diameter of the pupil is adjusted to the view objects properly in different intensities of light. This pupil is narrowed in presence of strong light, or the pupil is widened in presence of dim light. So that also does not require any learning or any experience. Next is knee jerk reflex. When the tendon on the knee is tapped, by any chance the knee is tapped, the tendon of the knee is tapped, the front high muscles contract, which results in the sudden forward movement of the lower leg. Okay. Again, coughing and sneezing. If some unwanted particles accidentally enter in our windpipe, severe contraction of the diaphragm occurs to cause the rapid exhalation of that object. Okay, so that it can throw out that object from that pathway. So we sneeze or cough. Then conditional reflex, this occurs due to some previous experience. They are not inborn, they are learnt. For example, when we play a musical instrument, okay, so when we have learned how to play the instrument, it automatically you will move your hand or your mouth, whatever it is, but that requires a experience or a learning. Then tying a shoelace or necktie, that is also requires learning. And when you learn that or experienced in that, then you can do it without being attentive to it. Then when watering of the mouth after seeing or smelling favorite food. Okay, this happens because, see, when our mother does some cooking in the delicious food, if she cooks in the kitchen, so if we smell that, our mouth waters, we feel hungry of eating that. So that is a conditional reflex. Okay. Next is that how do messages reach our brain? See, the PNS, that is peripheral nervous system, transmits the messages to and from the sense organs. They carry the messages to the sense organs and they bring the messages from the sense organs. So PNS responsible for voluntary actions like cycling, swimming, etc. See the pathway here. The messages enter the spinal cord from all parts of the body. then they reach the brain sends back the message to the spinal cord, and from the spinal cord to the various parts of the body. So this is the pathway that the messages reach the brain. So when they reach the brain, they directly don't reach the brain directly, they reach via the spinal cord and come through the spinal cord only. Okay. Next is that sense organs. We know that we have 5 sense organs, that is ear, eye, nose, skin and tongue. So close coordination between the CNS and the sense organs. There is a very close coordination between the CNS, that is central nervous system, and the sense organs. Stimuli, that is the heat, sound, light, etc., are detected by different receptors. What are the receptors? These are the special cells which are present in the sense organs that receives the stimulus from the environment. Now the sense organs are responsible for the reception of the stimuli of sight, sound, smell, taste and touch. So each sense organs is directly connected with the brain. There are 5 sense organs I told you that ear, eye, nose, tongue and skin. They are connected to the brain through different nerves. For example, eye is connected to the brain via the optic nerve. Ear is connected to the brain by auditory nerve. Okay, like nose is connected by the olfactory nerve. Like this, all the sense organs are connected to the brain via the different kind of nerves. Specific nerves are there. Okay. So this is the end of the chapter. If you like the video, press the like button and share the video if you like it, and also you can also give suggestions to improve my videos. And if you have any doubt regarding this chapter, any question answers you want to know, please do write in the comment box, and you can also write in the Facebook, in my Facebook account also. And also, if you are a new viewer to my channel or not subscribed yet, please do subscribe to get the notification of my next video. Okay, and then in the next video I'll start with the question answer sections of this chapter. Okay, so please go through the text videos and clarify your doubts. Thank you.